I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot the fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
I feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
And if my day keeps going this way and this way,
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here.
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 127 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. Whoa, I just realized the screen is really, really bright just now. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can get that sorted, and I'll be back in just a short moment. While I'm sorting that out, hold on a minute here. This is to do with really bad lighting, I know, but still. I think that might do it. Hold on a minute. See if that might work. All right, let's see here. Never realized I was charging up, you see, and I never realized it would actually be that bright. But yeah, I mean, it's not again the best, but I'm gonna see if I could actually invest in maybe getting some proper. Oh, sorry, excuse me, some proper lighting. And actually, just 1 second before I move on any further. Obviously, I want to, again another like a video streaming from the mothership. And definitely what it comes off as, to be quite fair. But anyway, I also just want to give a lot of professional setup you got going on. Oh, God damn it, you! I can blame a guy for trying. Okay. Actually, just before I go on any further, I don't think I actually really need this at the moment. Anyway, again, I want to give it like a big shout out to everyone who has kindly donated to me with the last episode. I mean, I never usually do that when I talked about my current situation regarding to that, because again, I could be very prideful and all of that. I never usually ask for help. But for those that did donate or gave donations to me, again, with that alone, thank you all very much for doing so. I really greatly appreciate your kind generosity. I'm really thankful for the amount of the people that did donate to me are usually the as I usually say, the usual suspects. These are people that normally come back and watch the show on a regular basis. So for those people, thank you very much for doing so. I actually, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, and I know that might sound incredibly gay to say, I'm sorry, no chance, but but honestly, I'm greatly appreciate your kind generosity with that. I actually can't thank you guys enough. It definitely did help me out a bit fairly recently. I did manage to get some stuff for food and all of that, for breakfast, lunch, and all of that. As a matter of fact, not the night when I received donations, but there was a I think it was Friday or Saturday, and also a big shout out to Woodlander, who also helped me out with the donations as well. I want to thank you very much, sir. I'll see if I can pay you back as soon as I possibly can with that. Honestly, thank you very much for doing that. And with one evening meal, I remember I did went to Lidl's, by the way, just to have a look into it and see with the pricing and all of that. And yeah, sure enough, Lidl's was actually pretty relatively cheap. So, for example, ribeye steak, right? Now, I did talk about how I love ribeye steak. Um, I would normally get a ribeye steak in like places like Asda or Tesco. Again, the big big name brands. I know I really shouldn't do that because again, that's me giving money to the anti-white corporations and all of that. But obviously, I think for me is a lot more convenient. But so the regular prices for a ribeye steak in those places are about £5 ten, and the steak itself is not really big. It's kind of like maybe like it's like that length and maybe that width kind of thing. So it's not really much. It might seem a bit much for some people, but to me, I'm quite a big eater myself. So obviously, I want something like a really big piece of meat. No homo. But so I went to Lidl's and I thought, right, I'll have a look into that and see what the prices are like there. And so £5 ten in the major supermarket places. In Lidl, it's about £3 28 or so, 25 maybe, I think. And I was like, wow, that's actually relatively cheaper. So from now on, regarding to buying ribeye steak, I'm gonna go to Lidl's from now on. That's actually I was actually shocked how cheap it was. I managed to get myself two slices of ribeye steak, and of course normally when it comes to steak, I would make eggs with it. So it's actually pretty good regarding to that. Your local butchers would do you a good cut of meat for a decent price. I never really gave that much of a thought. I think there is a local butcher's from where I live, so I'm gonna see if maybe I can have a look into that and maybe see from there because I've never actually done that before. But no, that's a good shout. A local butcher's, and I would imagine they would be also a lot better as well. Lidl's again was a pretty good with regard to that, but I'll definitely see if I can have a look at that at some point if I get the chance to. How do you season your steak, bro? I don't actually. I just cook it up and just kind of go from there, really. So, oh, sorry, excuse me. I've just got myself a glass of Iron Brew. If that explains why I keep on burping a lot. Again, my apologies. I need to have a little bit of energy, but because I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded ever since I left work today, and I don't know why. I don't feel ill or anything like that at all. It's like which is a bit odd, but I feel fine, but I feel like it's just a little bit more like just a little. I feel a bit lighted. I don't know if that sounds really bizarre, but that's how I kind of feel at the moment. That's why I thought I'd get myself a juice, maybe a couple of biscuits again, just to get that energy up, kind of thing. But anyway, get some liver cheap, well cheap. That's a good shout because I don't want to. I mean, as much as I love ribeye steak, obviously I don't want to keep on buying that over and over again. I want to try and maybe invest in other kinds of meat, like liver, for instance. So I might have a look into that as well. My local butcher shut down during COVID. Great shame. Oh, that is a shame. Yeah, I mean, I know COVID did tear down a lot of private. Well, I don't want to call them maybe like local businesses. That's the right word for it, and it really did. Thankfully, some local businesses that are near where I live are still open, which is fantastic. But I would not be surprised if unseasoned steak, you're so white. Yeah, I know, and I'm proud of it. No chance. So anyway, but no, I know there's a lot of places that have completely closed down their businesses because of COVID, which is a shame. So um but anyway, 4 tins tuna is £2.69. The Lidl is epic. That is. I'm not really a fan of tuna myself, but I mean, just for 4 tins, that's actually pretty decent pricing for that. So, great, Joe. More power to you. Speaking of Joe, I didn't. So okay, so this past what was it, Sunday or so? No, I think it was Sunday. Yeah. So, you need a good wife, Mr. Moody. Well, that is true, English Rose. I definitely do need a good wife. So, I do need a good wife. But anyway, I talked about Joe's stream rather briefly. So this past Sunday, now I did say that I would watch the entirety of the stream on that day. On Sunday morning, so about 11, and of course onwards, I was out doing leafleting with some of the guys. As a matter of fact, I got some of these leaflets here. It's these one. I'm sure people have seen this already, but politicians like to line their own pockets as Brits go hungry. I've delivered some of these leaflets in the past. Pretty good leaflet. Is very topical, especially what's going on just now. And I've got a big stack of them sitting right over there on top of some of the books I have. Because some of the guys gave me some leaflets. They were just like, well, we don't know if we're going to be doing any more leaflets. Do you maybe want to take some, and maybe you might want to, do some leaflet in either in your area or maybe places nearby it. I thought, well, there can't be anything wrong with that. So I don't know if I'm free for this weekend for it, but with that stack I have at the moment, I'm definitely going to see if I can gather up some guys from Central Scotland, and we'll see if we can definitely deliver some of these leaflets. Because again, I think it shouldn't really be much of a problem anyway, because most of the time those leaflets it's actually pretty positive. In fact, now I wasn't there. I was with this past Sunday when we were delivering those leaflets in Stirling. There was 5 of us. So again, I'm not going to mention their names, obviously, because they're not public figures, and that, of course, I want to keep that protective with regard to that. Myself and another gentleman, we went in a separate way. Again, we thought, right, we got a small amount of leaflets left. Let's just deliver them just so that it's done and dusted, kind of an idea. So we thought, we'll do that. The other 3 went off in a different direction, and I guess they were planning on heading back to the house. So while I was out with the guy I was with, we finished the whole with our leaflet run, and we decided, right, we're gonna maybe meet up at a certain place, or if not, we'll just head back to the house, and then we can just wait for them, or they waiting for us, type of idea. So we did that. We got back to the house, and we were just waiting for the 3 other people. We just waited and waited and waited, and then they did get back, and they were talking about one of the people who received the leaflet when we were posting them through letterbox after letterbox, and they seemed pretty on board with that. They were just like, "Oh, this is great that you guys are doing that." I remember back in the time when a man was a man and a woman was a woman and all of that. Like, completely, he sounded like he was on board. I'm not too sure if maybe he was like a proper nationalist or a proper ethno-nationalist, but from what was told to myself and the guy I was with, it seemed like the person who received the leaflet really seemed to be agreeing with it and really seemed to be on board with that. So you never know. Hopefully he might join. I don't know. Maybe he might do a bit further research. And again, we just need to wait and see with that. But again, it's good to see that from my experiences with leafleting, it's been mostly positive. Yes, there may be some times here and there you might have a couple of people spurging out because, like, oh, this is like racist, how dare you post it, don't ever post this into my house ever again. In fact, even this leaflet, right, the one I just showcased, now you think there's nothing in this leaflet that people would completely be against it, right? Well, the very first time I delivered these leaflets, it was in Falkirk at the Falkirk Stadium. I can't remember what teams it was. It was Falkirk against Rangers or Hibs or something like that. Again, when we were there, we delivered these leaflets, and they seemed really, really popular, and people really got on board with the leaflets. There were a couple people that gave the leaflets back. They were just like, oh, sorry, I'll get back to the stream story in a minute, Joe. Sorry, I'll just finish this off, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Sorry, Joe. But with those leaflets, one of them gave it back the leaflets to us. It was just like, oh, I mean, I appreciate the message going on, but I just want to watch the game and all of that. And we're like, all right, that's fair. Then there was one person who gave us back the leaflet, and they said, and I don't know if it was a guy or a woman, but they said, I might be paraphrasing here, but they have said, "Oh, I agree with the message and what you have in this very leaflet, but because it's got as Brits go hungry and not as Scots go hungry, so basically mainly British, then they just said, oh, sorry, I'm gonna have to give you guys the leaflet back because it's got the word Brits in it." And with that, I remember just thinking, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what's the difference here? So would it be any different if it said something like, as politicians line their own pockets as Scots go hungry. But would that be? It's still the same fucking message. So what exactly is the problem here? But then, of course, it kind of dawned on me, and even when I with guys I was with at the time when we were talking about it, it kind of occurred to me that the team that was going up against Falkirk, because again it was like a hometown game type of thing. I'm not really an expert of football or anything like that at all, so I apologize with that. But they did say that the opposing team are very left leaning, very pro independence type of thing, which I guess that definitely explains everything regarding to that football group. But yeah, I just thought that was just so fucking petty. It's like, oh, I'm going to give you back, this leaflet. Never mind the fact that I completely agree with it 100%, but because it's got the word Brits on it, then I'm sorry, I'm going to have to give you it back. Like, fuck off. Like, I'm not necessarily a pro unionist type of person myself. I mean, I would say I'm Scottish first and I'm British second, but even then, I don't get my panties in a twist because it's got the word Brit or Brits in the sentencing of this of a leaflet like this. It's ridiculous, absolutely absurd. Having a region specific leaflet would probably be a good shout. I think that is a good shout. No chance, to be fair. I think there are some regional groups within PA. I don't know if it's just PA or maybe other nationalist groups are doing this, but there are actually some specific regions that do have their own region specific leaflet. Which is a good idea, especially if there's something specifically going on in those areas. As a matter of fact, I think PA Scotland did that. These leaflets, it was the anti-SNP leaflet, because I remember giving them out back in I think it was June or July last year, I think it was. That was actually the first time I went out leafleting. And so I guess you could say that PA Scotland did do something like that, like a region-specific type of leaflet to give out. So yeah, there are other regional groups that do that, like it's a region-specific leaflet. So it is a good shout. I think it's already been done anyway with that in this case. Anyway, going back to the stream with Joe Marsh for the first time this past Sunday. Now, I maybe catch the last hour, maybe hour and a half, I think, because as I said, I was out leafleting at the time. So but from what I've seen, it was actually pretty good stuff. I really did enjoy that. It was nice to see Joe on the show, Bill Athling on the show as well, which was really nice to see. So, and I think what I've heard is that this show is going to be a very monthly type of show, which is quite surprising. Well, maybe not surprising. I think actually it might be beneficial for Joe's point, because most of the shows you see from myself or Mark or Laura or Sam or PA related, non-PA related nationalist channels or anything like that at all, usually these shows are very weekly. Now, some shows might be 2 episodes per week, like my show. Some episodes are 1 episode per week. Sometimes maybe even Urban Durber might stream like 5 days per week, which I don't know how the hell he did that, but he did that nonetheless. But I think I don't, and maybe Joe, if you can correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but I think Joe's show is going to be a monthly type of show. So episode 1 was this past Sunday. I would imagine episode 2 will be the next month, which, I mean, I think some people might think, oh, well, I really can't wait that long for the next episode. I think it might be actually beneficial for Joe's part, because the more you wait for something, the more you want to see that episode. So I think, if again, my opinion, I think that actually might be beneficial for Joe in the long run regarding to his new Welsh nationalist streaming show. So that's definitely good to see. So overall, I did really enjoyed it, and hopefully his channel and his show becomes much bigger than it is right now. So I think at the moment there's about, from what I've seen when it was live, I think there was about 202, maybe 204 subscribers on the channel. I don't know if that's increased at the time, but again, it's good to see that the channel is growing. So really good to see regarding to that. Anyway, moving on from there, I have one big announcement to make, by the way. So, well, it's a bit of good news and bad news, right, when it comes to this coming Thursday. Now, the bad news is that Mood of the Nation episode 128 will not be live this coming Sunday. Now, there is a reason for that, and I'll get to that in just a second. Okay. Just real quick from Roy Herbert. Chief Winnie Joe's idea of having people in the chat on was great. Really brings our community together. It does. Yeah, I actually did like that idea. So I just hope that I mean, maybe it might be a bit funny, but hopefully it doesn't come to the point where you have some of the detractors coming along regarding to the show. But I mean, yeah, no, it is a good idea regardless. It does bring that element of community together regarding to that. So I really did like that. I want it to be mostly about Wales, but have some guests on. We were gonna do it monthly, but we are gonna do one on December 11th, and then one in between Christmas and New Year. Fair enough. Well, you heard it from Joe himself. So there's gonna be 2 episodes in December, and then after that it will be like a monthly scheduled program, which again really good to hear and good to see. And cheers for the plug. No worries, Joe. You're very welcome. You're very welcome for the plug. Where was I? Where I left off. I think I was talking about. Yeah, sorry. This coming Thursday, right? So this Thursday coming, there will not be a Mood of the Nation episode 128. That's going to be on Sunday for episode 128. So that's the bad news. The good news is, and there is a good reason why there will not be a stream on Thursday. Let me see if I can. Oh, I keep forgetting to share the screen. But I'm going to show you as to why this is the case. Now, some of you might know this already. In fact, I think no chance you might know this already because I think you're going to be appearing as well. But let me just show this real quick. Because this coming Thursday, I will be appearing on a stream with the NHP UK TV or John Lawrence, and the name of the stream is called "Take the High Road with Big John and Guests." So as you can see with the lists right here just now, it's all about Scotland this week with special guest Chief Moody, that's me. No chance, David Clues from UNN, which is really good to hear, and Arlene Bennett, National Housing Party United Kingdom, and NHP UK. And that's going to be this coming Thursday, I think it is. Wait a minute, let me just double check. Yeah, this coming Thursday, and I think that's going to be, yes, the 1st of December, which will be Thursday at 7 p.m. So there you go, folks. As I said, Mood of the Nation will not be live this coming Thursday, but I will be appearing on the NHP UK stream for that episode at 7 p.m. Of course, I'll post it on. I know John has already posted or made a post about it on Telegram, but by the time comes, whether it be tomorrow or maybe on Thursday, but a few hours before, I'll definitely post a Telegram message about that just to let people know that, hey, this is what's going to be happening. Myself and a few others will be appearing on the NHP UK stream. Definitely check it out if you can. If I knew you were going to be on, I wouldn't have bothered. I kid, should be good. It definitely should be good. Yeah, I can't wait to be on that as well. So it's going to be, as I said, myself, no chance. David Clues. Now, David Clues, hopefully I might get a more of a conversation with him this time around, because yes, he was at the PA Scotland second annual conference this past October, but for me and him it was rather brief. I think even then I don't think he knew who I was. I knew who he was because obviously I've seen him in previous streams before, but I don't think he had a single clue to who I was. He probably saw me as just some guy working at the security team. It's like, I can imagine some of the guys would point to him as like, oh, look, he's a content creator too. And he's just like, great. They just move on from there. But anyway, Bill Laughling is in the chat with us. Hello, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. And that's a bit, I thought I might save this for the NHP UK stream, but no chance. I got a bit of a fucking bone pick with you because you tagged me on Twitter with taking the piss out of me for repeating welcome to the Mood of the Nation from whenever I read out people's names. It is funny like regarding to that, but I just thought I'd mention that. It's like, I know exactly what you did with that, so I just thought I would mention that in this case. So but anyway, welcome Bill, thank you very much. And also Roscoe, thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. See, now when I say that, I instantly think of that tweet by No Chance, but I mean, there we go. I am running a little bit late for no, that's completely fine. Late tonight, no worries. Even Chief, even Truth, stuck in work for fuck's sake, no worries. At least you're here. That's good to see. Anyway, right. So mentioned that Asian chap does look like you. Asian chap. Oh, I think I might know what what tweet you're maybe on about, but yeah, I'll see if I can have a look at that in a moment. I think I know what you're on about. No chance, but yeah. Anyway, one thing to mention as well before we continue on. Of course, my entropy is live, which is still good to see. I think it's still going, which again, that's really good. Awesome. There's no any hiccups or anything like that. That's good. So, entropy, of course, will be the main source in terms of receiving donations or anything like that at all. But most importantly, of course, if you want to ask me any questions through entropy or through the entropy chat, uh, you can see the pen comment for the link with my entropy in the chat just now. So if you want to enter a question there, you can if you want to. And of course, by the end of tonight's show, I will be answering those questions about the last half an hour, maybe last 15 minutes. It just depends on like what time it will be after I finish the two topics covering tonight. So the first things first, we're going to have a look at the census results for 2021. Now, of course, everyone was talking about this. Everyone from PA, everyone like non-PA, but of course, we're nationalists. We're talking about this, and I did have a quick look at myself, and yeah, it's I think it's starting. It should be like a clear sign for everyone now that it's starting, and maybe it might be a case that might be starting to get a little bit worrying now. So I'm going to read out the notes I have here. That was from I think it was on the official PA Telegram post, or maybe Laura posted it. I'm not entirely too sure, but anyway. So I'm just going to read out what's here. Census results for 2021. These figures are for England and Wales. Now, I don't know what the results would be for Scotland. I don't know if they actually came out at roughly the same time or anything like that at all, but I couldn't really find the results for Scotland. So I'll probably might do that in the next episode or two, in case if it comes out maybe later on. And if I find it at that point, I'll probably talk about it then, or maybe as like a one topic type of idea. But anyway, so these are for figures, as I mentioned, for England and Wales specifically, not Scotland or Northern Ireland, but here we are regarding to this part here. So not to be confused with previous figures for the whole of the UK. So in terms of the white population, back in 2011, it was around 86.0%, right? Now, this was, again, for England and Wales so back in 2011 in terms of the white population, the white British population. Oh, no, sorry. With just the overall white population, I'm assuming, because there's like two sections here. So there's just a white section and a white British section. So at this point, I'm going to mention only the white section just now, and then move on to the white British section. So regarding to the white population, the white overall population, so that may include British, non-British, that type of idea. So with that, back in 2011, as I mentioned, it was 86.0%, right? Then 10 years later, in 2021, so that's of course last year, it went down from 86% to 81.7%, and it says underneath here a drop of 4.3% in 10 years. Now again, some people might look at that and say, "Well, I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, there's still like a white majority type of country. I mean, 4.3% in 10 years, that's still pretty bad. I mean, okay, it might not be like maybe 10% or 20%, hell, maybe even 50%, but it's still pretty bad, because we're definitely seeing the decline of the white population here in Britain. So now we get into, and as part of the white ethnic group, now we get into the white British ethnic group specifically. So white British. So here's the figures from 2001. So this is about 21 years ago, of course. So 2001, it was about 87.5%, right? 10 years later, in 2011, it went from 87.5% to 80.80%. 0.5%. So it was a drop of 7% in 10 years between 2001 and 2011, which is, I mean, that's still quite worrying regarding to that. So, and then of course we now get to 2021, as I said last year. It then went down now to 74.4%. Here we see a drop of around 6% over the past 10 years and a massive drop of 7% the decade before. These figures are shocking in themselves. However, remember, they only include people who filled out the census, and they don't include illegals. So the actual figures are likely much worse. So yeah, because this is something that also that needs to be bear in mind. This is only for figures for people who either were born here or possibly when it comes to immigration came here legally, is partly to do with that. But imagine if they actually put all the figures together when it comes to immigration, both legal and illegal immigrants. Yeah, I would agree that it would probably be a lot worse. So I think this is a case of they're trying to make it as if like, well, it's not exactly that bad. I mean, okay, maybe it's a bit of a drop, but it's still, you know, a white majority country. What are you worrying about? You fucking fascists. It's like, it's still a drop. I mean, okay, it was like from between 2011 and 2021, it's a 6% drop. And then, of course, a decade prior to that, it was a 7% drop. So it's still pretty worrying because, again, people, we can definitely see this, that the trend is more immigration is coming in, and more and more white people are, well, mainly white British people, are starting to have less and less children and decide to go their own way and be cringy individuals. We're definitely seeing a massive difference. And even, of course, places all across the UK, more famously in this case, London. London is basically a non-British city at this point. I mean, there's still some white people living, or white British people living there, but maybe some like Polish or maybe other Eastern European whites. But again, it's no longer a majority British city at this point, which again, people can definitely see the trends. They can definitely see the changes going on. English Rose, real quick. Less than 25% until we become a minority. It will be long before 2066. Yeah, I mean, I hope we're not going to make this like a black pilling type of thing, because yeah, these are worrying numbers. But look, we'll just say I'll save that this part towards the end of this topic. Oh yeah, here we go. This part here. In addition, immigration and fertility rate figures have worsened over the last decade, so the decline should have been a bigger drop than the previous decade. Yet it's slightly less, 6% and 7%. I'll get a full write up on the Patriotic Alternative website this week. Those were Laura's words. So I would imagine maybe, I don't know if the article's up yet, or maybe that's going to come out tomorrow or maybe sometime this week, but I'm sure there'll be a lot more details coming through within that article. So definitely, folks, keep an eye out on that. So yes, yeah. I mean, even though it's only showing numbers when it comes to legal immigration, but it's still pretty bad. Where you can, again, I apologize if I sound like I keep on getting repeating myself here, but you could definitely see that the trends are continuing. The trends are continuing the way they are, and it's only going to get much worse if people don't do anything about it. And what I've also thought was really funny is that the people who are supporting immigration, or these migrants keep coming into the country, these same exact group of people that say, "Oh, there's not a complete change whatsoever. Like this is just possibly like a natural like change within the country." I mean, we could definitely see that that's complete bullshit. We could definitely see in this case that everything that they accuse us of, like conspiracy theory or whatever the case may be, we could definitely see that actually this change that many people here don't want is happening. Whether they agree with it or not, whether they like it or not, it's definitely happening, and it's very, very worrying to say the least regarding to that. Roy Herbert, real quick, Chief Really, I can never pronounce this word. Sorry, can't speak tonight. Leicester is now 33.2% white, English, Scottish, Welsh, or Northern Irish. I did see a couple of like specific statistics were in like specific areas. I think there was actually one, I can't remember who posted on this on Telegram, but Some people are actually saying that there's actually specific small, specific areas all across Britain that are actually they have no white people or no white British people there, which again that's pretty worrying. And again, only just further cements this idea that this change that people don't want to see, this very manufactured change, if you want to call it that, is definitely happening, and people can definitely see it. Whether even people who are not necessarily political in any way, shape, or form, it's definitely happening, and people can definitely see the change going on. Um, Even where I live at the moment, I remember like maybe a decade ago. Uh, when it comes to like seeing non-whites, again, this was before I embraced the whole nationalism aspect of it in regard to that. But I remember at the time, I, where I lived, it was a majority like white area. Of course, you might get some Indians or some Pakistanis living in some areas, but overall, for where I lived, it was an overall white majority type of area. It's pronounced Leicester, right? Okay, thank you. No chance, right? I thought it might be Leicester, but because it's Leicester, but no, it's Leicester, right? Fair enough. Thank you for the correction. No chance. I sound more like a fucking retard, but anyway, sorry. But going back to the story, where I lived, it was mainly a white majority type of area, and I didn't actually see a black person until I was maybe 12, 13, maybe 14 years of age. Now, I know people I think well, is a little bit kind of like funny regarding to that, but it's to emphasize the fact that yes, there were some non-whites, but they were very, very like, dare I say that the term, the minority. There were not really many of them. But then years go by, and when I get older, that's when I started noticing changes going on. God damn it, Joe. Stop that. No, that's not fair. No chance. It's a stupid Anglo names. Don't worry about it. No, we can't say that. No. But no, sorry, go back to my story. As I was growing up, and then even at that point, before I was an ethno nationalist, or even a nationalist for that matter, I did start to see a little bit of a change. And even, of course, recently, I was like, oh, like you could definitely see it because again, it was mainly like white people I would normally see, but again, as of late, I've seen a lot more brown people or like Middle Easterns, Arabs, Pakistanis, or wherever the case may be. I've seen a lot more black people in some areas. Again, maybe not as much, but you'll probably see more black people in the major metropolitan cities, if you want to call them. So, say for example, like here in Scotland, of course, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, maybe places like I'm trying to think, maybe Aberdeen, maybe. Um, but you might see some black people in some like nearby towns, but maybe not as much as where you would see them in the major city areas. But even with that being said, you can definitely see the change forming that, and this change coming along is not a natural change. As I mentioned, this is all to do with a manufactured change that people, of course, really don't want this to happen. Nobody wants this. I mean, even just what we've seen recently with Skegness. I mean, you could tell that people within Skegness, with these migrants keep coming into the area, people don't want that. People just simply do not want it whatsoever. Let's see here. Right, gonna have a quick drink of my juice or iron brew. But yeah, so there we go with the census results. It definitely would definitely be a lot worrying. I can imagine some people might look at this and might think, who benefits? Yeah, exactly. Like it does. It certainly doesn't benefit us. The people who are born here in Britain. I would say the only group of people it would benefit are the people who are coming here, whether it be illegally or legally. The non-British. But anyway, moving on from there. Well, maybe just one final point regarding to that. So I can understand that when regarding to these census results, they might seem like really worrying. In fact, maybe even blackpilling for a lot of people. But I think the only possible way how we can maybe get those numbers back upper again or back up again is again we just have to continue on doing what we're doing, which is to spread the message, going out doing activism, and of course get together as a collective, and then that way, hopefully, we'll definitely see if we can sort out the problem, which is that Bangladesh. Fair enough. And just reading a comment from the message in the chat, and to see if we can actually promote our ideas, because I think people are starting to wake up to what's going on. Maybe not fully as of yet. There might be still a bit either as half asleep, or maybe they're kind of they know what's going on, but they don't want to go that extra mile regarding to it. But I think people are starting to wake up to it. So hopefully more and more people will wake up to it even more regarding to that. Anyway, so I think I'll move on from there. Change, huh? Gateshead changing by the freaking week. More blacks, Middle Easterns, and every other breed from the four corners of the earth is in my town. It's unreal. They are everywhere. Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean, Austin Advocate. I know what you mean. Let's see here. All right, corporations benefit. Yes, it could be beneficial for all the corporations, which, of course, they would talk about how oh, we want all these immigrants, but the only reason they want these immigrants coming in is so that they can make money off of them. Basically cheap labor, basically. Anyway, I'm going to move on from there and move on to a completely different topic. Now, actually, this topic what I want to cover just now was something that I thought might be the main focus of tonight's show, but I kind of figured that later on throughout the day, I kind of figured that the census results would be, of course, a lot more important. Obviously, I did cover that just now on the show, and hopefully people appreciate my coverage of the census results. As I said, I haven't seen the results for Scotland, so whether they are out, but I haven't. If I maybe just wait and see with that. My screen just kind of blacked out. I don't know what happened there. Hopefully, it might be fine at the moment. So that might be to do with the connection going on. Sorry, folks. Let me see here. Just want to make sure if it's all working fine. Can everyone still hear me? Because I can see the bars on my internet kind of going a bit off at the moment. I don't know. Maybe that might be to do with my connection, but I'll just wait for your people. Robot for a second, but back to normal. Right, that's fine. I don't know what happened there. Must have been maybe a slight spasm of the internet connection, but no, if it's back to normal, then all right, that's fine. No worries. Anyway, let's move on to it might be the last topic of tonight's episode, and then we'll move on to questions if of course if we've got enough time, and then we'll see from there. I'll probably do this show for about an hour and a half, maybe up until 7 o'clock, but maybe earlier. But again, we'll just wait and see with that. Robot for a second, but back to normal. Audio is fine. It's all good. Just turn into R2D2 for a bit. Right, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. Now, what we're going to talk about is it was a stream that happened last night, which I never even was aware that this was happening, but this caught my attention this morning when people were talking about it, of course. And of course, it was the absolute shit show that was the Timcast episode, and more specifically, the episode they aired recently where they had Ye or Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, and of course everyone's favorite Mexican catboy leader of the white race, Nicholas J. Fuentes. So again, as I said, I had no clue that this was going to happen, no any idea that this was going on until when I woke up this morning, because obviously I had to go in for work. And I keep seeing people. There was actually one particular streamer. I don't know if I may have mentioned her before, but she's an American nationalist streamer by the name of Radix Verum. She was talking about this, and I was just like, I can't believe this was all going on. But anyway, I mean, I think it would have been a lot better if it was live, that stream, or the Demcast stream. But wow, just wow. Right, I'm going to see if I can find the original video, because what we're going to be talking about is So just to give a little bit of context for people that don't know. So the three of them went on to the Timcast because Tim Pool wanted to talk to them about the recent Trump dinner that they had and all of that. Which, I mean, I don't know why that would be relevant to the discussion, but all right, fair enough. And it just kind of went on from there. Talks about the JQ, and of course Tim Pool being a cowardly little pussy that he is. Basically, was just like, well, basically he did the exact same thing. What did that one Jewish podcaster, was it Lex Feldman, I think his name was, did the exact same thing. Oh, we shouldn't look at Jews as a collective. We should look at those people as individuals. Like, but, but, but it's so utterly pathetic for someone like Tim Pool. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch that stream, of course, going over with it together. And of course, there will be times where I'm going to be pausing the stream or pausing the video I'm watching, again, just to give my bit of commentary regarding to it. And we're going to see from there. So it's a bit cringe on Tim Pool's part. But as a matter of fact, I might as well just mention it just now. After this stream happened, I remember there's people, of course, kind of taking the piss out of Tim Pool because there's a video floating around on Twitter, and I don't know any other platforms for that matter, but it's Tim Pool at some protests. Of course, Antifa were there at that time. I don't think this was. No, he wouldn't be at Charlottesville. I think it might have been Berkeley. The whole Battle of Berkeley thing that was going on in California. Might be that. I'm not too sure. But for those that don't know, it's the clip. Maybe people have seen it already, but it's the clip of Tim Pool doing his spiel on talked about, Antifa are the real fascists. Like really just gay statement to make regarding to that. But someone. I don't know if he was a known content creator at that time, but now he's gone. But he basically went up to Tim Pool and took off his Tim Pool's beanie. Tim Pool, of course, got a bit butthurt about it, and of course talked about you ever do that to me again, you'll lose your teeth because people might come and hurt or try and kill me because they'll recognize me without the beanie. It's like, dude, people are already gonna fucking recognize you because you keep wearing the beanie, and people know you because you wear the fucking beanie. So regardless if you have the beanie or not, people are gonna instantly recognize you. You fucking sped. God, I actually hate these people with a passion. But it's even worse regarding to this overall episode on Timcast. But again, we'll just get right into it. And this is gonna be a doozy. So let's watch this together, troops. So let's have a look at this. Let me see just now. Timcast IRL, Yee, Fuentes, Milo joined to discuss Trump dinner at Yee 24. Oh yeah. Just want to make sure if everything's still working and it's fine and dandy. Yeah, that's fine. I see that English Rose has posted some of the social media posts. What was his name again? Was it? Funny you mentioned that. No chance. I might have been Millennial Matt. And I don't know too much about Millennial Matt, but I have seen him in a couple of streams, like mainly at the time the kill stream, when of course it was actually a good stream now, and not now where it's basically a complete shit show of a stream, because the host of that stream, Ethan Ralph, is basically a massive fucking rage pig. But anyway, Tim Pool is incredibly effeminate. I remember seeing a rant he made. He went on where he was screeching about people not backing him up. Seems like a bitch. Yeah, he does kind of come off like a massive bitch. Tim Pool also released some very cringe early 2000s style emo music, in case nobody heard of it. I think I might have listened to a snippet of the song, and I was just like, fuck that. Like what? Like it's something that you would hear like back in the early 2000s. It was just completely cringe. It's like, mate, like get a fucking grip on yourself. It's almost like he was going through midlife crisis when he was making that. But anyway, right. So yeah, sorry, no chance. Go back to what you were saying. I think it might have been Millennial Matt, but maybe I don't know. But anyway, let's have a look at this stream just now. So I think it's full volume. It should be up and running. Is it playing? Oh, it is playing, right? That's fine. Okay, maybe it's taking this. I don't know why it's taking this. It's just
Thanksgiving, you
Shit.
were with your families or loved ones, or at least.
By the way, we're going to be watching this all the way up until when Kanye, spoilers, leaves the podcast, and then we'll move on from there. We'll just get right into it. Actually, we might as well just get right into the moment where Tim just firstly asks him about the questions, kind of thing. We'll just get on from there. Anyway, let's have a look at this and then see from there. Pence says Trump should apologize. Wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. That's Mike Pence being basically a massive cuck. But anyway,
It's from earlier today at 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened. Nick, you were there. Yay, you were there. I just want to start off by, how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
I was talking to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November. And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that had been canceled, like Alex Jones, I started getting in contact with other people that were now on the inside of the matrix. And Alex Jones, producer, said that Milo wanted to contact me, and here we are.
So that's how you guys got in contact.
Yeah, originally, and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. Most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of his generation. And he's
I would imagine. Sorry, I just pause it real quick. I would imagine that Milo would think of this when it comes to Nick Fuentes, because he's pretty much all behind. I don't know maybe the full amount, but he's pretty much been the one helping behind, pulling the strings of America First and all of that. Which, I mean, again, it's kind of funny to think that, at the time, Nick Fuentes and others for America First were very pro-America, America First. They were criticizing, like Israel and bringing up the JQ and all of that. But funnily enough, as of late, a lot of people who helped build the America First website, and of course, mainly people helping out America First, they tend to be Jewish, which really makes you think, doesn't it? It should raise a massive eyebrow for a lot of people.
Treated just about as badly as anybody, so I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And yeah, that's pretty much how we got together.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner, and what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno pick us up from the airport. And there was a lot of back and forth. There's another gentleman named Jamar Montgomery that was with us. It's he's an engineer at Boeing, and
I'm telling him just we should raise everyone's volume.
Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is like Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole,
Sorry, I just want to make a quick point about that real quick, because I remember watching sometimes of Nick Fuentes and, of course, his show America First. And I think there'd be times where he would talk about how, like, oh, Trump knows me and, blah, blah, blah. We just got an admission from Kanye that Trump didn't know who the fuck Nick Fuentes was. Kanye probably told Trump, like, oh, I got Nick Fuentes, and Trump was like, the fuck is Fuentes, or Nick Fuentes for that matter. So I just think it's quite funny, because a lot of people speculate as to why they're possibly doing this, and I think it's to try and stop Trump for winning the nomination to become possibly a Republican candidate. I don't know if it's going to happen when it comes to the presidential election. I'm not saying I defend Trump or a supporter of Trump or any way, shape, or form, because we all know exactly what happened when Trump was the president for his 4-year term. but I think you can kind of see the cracks on the wall that this has all kind of been done by design. Maybe I'm looking way too deep into it, but I've seen a lot of other people making a similar comparisons or similar points to this, that maybe Kanye West is being used by both Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes to try and, to stop Trump from winning a nomination for the Republican presidency or candidacy regarding to that. Now, I don't know if that's for money or for notoriety. I don't know. But again, it's just something to really speculate regarding to that. It's something that I think people are really going to have a further look into this, because it's strange. It's really strange regarding to that.
I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
Elaborate. What do you mean? You mean
Here we go.
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And in general, America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you said debanked, or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But so we're getting right into it, I guess, right?
Yeah. So of course, like we all know, I'm not going to repeat the whole thing here, but I mean, because obviously I talked about it on the show before, but Kanye West basically was one of the people that did it, kind of talked about and somewhat exposed the major Jewish influence that's in American society when it comes to the film industry, the banking system, all kinds of other institutions. I mean, people can clearly see that. And what's the one thing that happened to Kanye? Well, he's been labeled an anti-Semite. He's lost a lot of record and a lot of sponsorship deals because of that. Now, if there was, again, I've talked about this before, and I mentioned this on the show before, but if there's no such thing as Jewish power or Jewish influence going on in American society, why then label him an anti-Semite and, of course, making him lose all of these business deals, having him having his bank account closed, or maybe a couple of bank accounts, I'm not sure, but having his bank account closed and all of that, if there's no such thing as Jewish influence in American society? Because at the end of it, all these people are doing to Kanye are basically doing nothing more but just proving his point correct. So,
Right? I was hoping to go for the news first before we got into all of this stuff. I think the issue is, one way to put it is, you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify. There are a handful of people that you see are Jewish in a certain place, and then you associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of black people.
yeah, because you're either being deliberately disingenuous or you're just a fucking idiot. Like, right, when it comes to Jewish people, right, I know people often make this argument, well, I mean, Judaism is a religion. If you talk to a Jewish person and ask them, hey, are you white or are you Jewish? Because, of course, most normies would look at a Jewish person and think, oh, well, there must be a white person. But if you actually were to take the time and ask a Jewish person, hey, are you white or are you Jewish? Ask them a particular question like that, the number one answer they would respond to? They will respond to with they're Jewish. They see themselves not just in the aspect of religion, but in terms of the aspect of race. They see themselves as a racial group. They have their own racial interest to protect their own group of people. When it comes to like Jews living in Israel, Jews living in America or Britain or anywhere like that at all, there is clearly an interest group when it comes to Jewish people, and they see themselves as the number one. Well, not the number one, but as a it should be as a protected. They see themselves as should be as a protected racial group. Hell, it even goes all the way back to like books they've read. In fact, the number one book that portrays them as God's chosen people, I think it was called the Talmud. So again, these people do see themselves in a particular light, and they view themselves as funnily enough, the superior race, which is funny because they often say when it comes to like white or racial superiority, especially when it comes to white people, when Jews see white people get together and form as a collective and say, we have a right to exist and a right to self-determination. Of course, they'll label it as white supremacy, neo-Nazism and all of that. But it's completely fine for the Jewish people to see themselves as the superior race. After all, it says in the fucking Talmud, right? So, again, what Tim here is trying to do is go for the whole individualism argument, which, look, Tim, I'm just going to be the one to pop your fucking centrist bubble and send you hurtling back to fucking reality. But individualism and all this other fucking gay shit that you preach on a daily fucking basis is partly what got us in this mess in the first place. All right? Now, that might be something you might not necessarily agree with, might not necessarily like, but that is the fucking truth and nothing but the fucking truth.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
So it's similar to what I was saying there just now to make a point. Again, it's this whole rules for thee but not for thee argument. So of course, even Kanye was making something like a similar point about that when it comes to him and the black community.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why can people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture. Well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it. And now the dam is broken.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't.
Sorry, just real quick. I really do not trust Milo for a second. First of all, we all know for a fact that he himself is fucking Jewish, and we all know for a fact that he married a fucking black man. So it kind of makes you wonder, well, what exactly is his major goal here? Like, why is he doing this? So that's first of all. Second of all, we all know for a fact that he's probably the biggest snitch on the planet. Isn't it true and insane? I don't know if I might be saying this correctly, but he has his own vault, as he calls it, of all kinds of dirty laundry of all the people he has spoken to, who he had meetings with, and so on and so forth. He's got all kinds of dirty laundry and that's held within a vault. So I mean, I can't trust him for a fucking second. And third of all, with this person, and I use this term loosely regarding to Milo Yiannopoulos, and he talks about like moral values and talks about how like America should be going back to being a Christian nation all over again. Isn't he the same fucking person who once talked about a time he was at a party and he's seen all of these celebrities or studio executives or whatever the case may be doing very questionable things to children that were present there? And he never once called those people out or named the person or the people involved in that when he was there himself. Really makes you think, doesn't it? Really makes you think.
And now the dam is broken.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't like identitarianism. You guys are familiar with what that is?
Well,
I think I kind of know this. Sorry for keep pausing it, folks, but I think I have an idea of why exactly Tim Pool does not like identitarianism, because he himself, correct me if I'm wrong saying, but isn't it true that Tim Pool is biracial? So he's like half white or half Hispanic, whatever the case may be. Because I remember he talked about this before, because he, of course, the topic of identitarianism, he did talk about that as well. He was like, "Oh, identitarianism is just so horrible, nasty, and evil. We must be individuals." It's probably because he himself is biracial. He grew up a time where he was never accepted for both either races, because he wasn't a pure race. He wasn't pure of race enough. And look, every single racial group goes through that. Like, every single group has their own, um, like preferences, that have their own protectiveness when it comes to their own race. I mean, there has been the cases of miscegenation, but every single racial group, including white people, of course, are completely against miscegenation. In fact, again, I made this point in the past before on the show, but it bears repeating. There is, contrary to popular belief, but it's not white people who are the number one group of people who are completely against miscegenation. You want to know the number one group of people in the world who are completely against miscegenation? Indians. Indians are the number one racial group who detest miscegenation. So when an Indian man doesn't look at a white European blonde woman, and this white European blonde woman could be like the ideal woman, like a perfect looking woman. She's got all the perfect features and all of that, like nice flowing hair, beautiful face, nice arse, nice pair of tits, everything. Probably a nice pussy, but that's beside the point. Everything. She could be like the embodiment of a perfect white European woman. This Indian man doesn't look at her and think, "Whoa, she's really cute." No, she looks at her and think, "Yeah, she's lovely, but I'm not gonna be in a relationship with her, or impregnate her, or marry her, or whatever the case may be, or even start a family with her, because she's not his people." So I can maybe understand why Tim Pool completely doesn't really like identitarianism, because again, he was never accepted from either races, which is a shame, regarding to that. But it's just, look, every single racial group, whether he agrees with this or not, whether he likes it or not, every single racial group, whites, blacks, Asians, Middle Easterns, and so on, even Jews, of course, etc., etc. Every single racial group has their own preferences, has their own in-group preferences, or their in-group protectiveness. So I can't exactly remember the correct phrasing of that, but every single racial group is aware of it. And that's because it's all part of tribalism. It's part of our human DNA. We're all tribalistic in nature. We can't exactly really get rid of that. Even if you're the most progressive, most lefty type of, or a lefty, aka anti-white person there is, you'll still have a sense of tribalism within you, because it's all coded within our DNA. So he could probably cope and see all he wants about that, but again, it's all part of our human nature to be tribalistic and to have our own racial in-group preferences, or to have racial, what is that phrase again? Like, not preferences, but racial. It might be preferences, but there's another word that I keep saying a lot, but it's not in my mind at the moment, but it might come back to me, but I don't know. But anyway, we'll just continue on from there. So, in fact, actually, just before, what time is it now? 6:45. Fuck. Right, we're about 15 minutes in. Actually, do I have any questions come through? I do not. Right. He's just thinking he will grow. Oh God, no. So anyway. Whites don't seem to be bothered about mixing, to be honest. I see loads whites with non-whites, loads mixed scans with mixed kids. They're everywhere. Yeah, but I think mainly to do with that is that is all part of the mental conditioning. So this idea of, to misogyny is, or for racial biracialism, or whatever you want to call it. It's all part of the mental conditioning of, oh, we're all one race, the human race, and all of that. So white people are being taught to not be a collective, not to get together as an in-group, as an in-group, and have the formation or a sense of unity whatsoever. Instead, they're being preached to be individuals, and of course, go out and date and whoever the hell they want, basically. There's it's part of like hookup culture. That's it. Like preaching the idea of hookup culture in regard to that. So I want to continue on with watching the stream, but I didn't think it would be like this long. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll probably maybe continue it on in the next stream when I'm next on. Maybe this coming Sunday. I don't know, but because like I said, I'm not going to be on for this coming Thursday because I'm going to be appearing on NHP UK stream with John Lawrence and a few other guests, like No Chance, David Clues, and everyone else. So I'll think I'll stop the topic there, and I think what we could do for the last maybe 10-15 minutes, maybe we could do a bit of a Q&A session. We got English Rose posting the entropy link in the chat just now. So this would be a perfect opportunity to ask any questions you would like to ask me in the entropy link just now. So it could be any question you want. Feel free to ask me and I will answer them just now. So, and then by the time it gets to 7 o'clock, maybe a couple minutes before then, we'll end the stream then, and then I'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be on Sunday. The biggest group falling for the BLM shite was teenage white girls for some reason. No, that's true. As funny as it is, but it's actually it's actually relatively true. I mean, there were just so many of them, and it kind of all seems to be part of this idea of white girls dating black boys or black men. I think is actually it wasn't my original thought, but some of the guys from PA Scotland, someone from PA Scotland said it best, that the only reason that they do that is a matter of social status. It's like, oh, I'm a white girl and I'm dating a black man, and it's like they probably don't really have any true, genuine feelings for them, but they probably see it as like, oh, look, I'm so progressive. It's like, as I said, it's like social status. They basically treat this black dude like a purse puppy, basically, and of course she'll probably regret it when they go through the whole domestic violence kind of bullshit, because again, there seems to be like a running pattern of mixed race couples, especially if the couples are a white woman and a black man. The white woman tends to get her cunt kicked in by the black man because I don't know whether or not if maybe that's mainly, and I know that might sound incredibly vulgar to say, but it's true though. Now, I wonder if it's maybe to do with the fact that these black men don't really share our core values or anything with that at all. But I mean, okay, let's be honest, it's probably to do with that. But miscegenation is quite prevalent in London. It's hard to see. I mean, yeah, I would think so with that. I thought we were down to 7% of the global population. Some stats include Middle Easterners or Mazitos as white. Oh, did they? I thought they would separate them into completely separate racial groups, because when it comes to race, when it comes to studies or whatever, they would have them be like Middle Eastern or Arab with that. So I'm actually a bit surprised at that, BP Jordy. So I don't know why they would do that. But anyway, women are the weak link. The enemy knows it too. Hence the advertising. Yes, it's a social fetish. Yeah, that's also what it is to do with that. But it's all part of the advertising aspect of it. Again, part of the whole programming to normalize that type of stuff. It turns my stomach to see a pretty white girl who 100 years ago would have been a good wife to a white man and had white children throwing herself at Saharan Africans twerking like in heat. Yeah, I know. It's shameful. It really is. Absolutely shameful. Let me see. Anything coming through in entropy? Not at the moment. Right, that's fine. Oh, I think Jodie's going to be live in half an hour. Right, that's fine. I thought I know she was going to be live in a completely separate thing, but I thought her radio show was going to be at maybe like early in the morning, like maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But that's like in the afternoon or at night in American time. But apparently she's going to be live in half an hour, or no, actually, is it half an hour time? Wait a minute. Oh, that was right. So technically 10 minutes, right? So after the stream, I would imagine people would head on over to Jodie's stream, which would be good to see. I've definitely seen multiple statistics produced that make the white percentage higher by including light-skinned non-whites, especially studies from Burgerland, USA. Yeah, well, that's really weird. That That's quite bizarre. I don't know. Maybe I mean, again, I don't want to come off like a far right conspiracy theorist, but I wonder if maybe that's all done by design, so that they don't want to really worry, or at least they don't want to present it as like true proper stats regarding like populations like that. So they would include those non-whites into the white category, and then say, oh look, see, it's not exactly that bad when it comes to the whole decline. It's like, no, you just added these people who are clearly not, Aryan white. You're just basically putting them together and trying to make it as if like it's not really that much of a big deal what we're going through just now. But anyway, English Rose just posted the link for Jody K's stream, which will be coming up in 8 minutes' time. So can't wait for that. Just want to make sure still nothing coming through with entropy. I mean, that's completely fine. No worries with that. Spot on, Chief. That's exactly why they do it. Yeah. Well, no worries, BP Jordy. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Yeah, but even them doing that, it does come off as incredibly disingenuous. Where it's like, oh, look, see, it's not really that bad. It's like, no, you just included, as I said, you just included these people into the studies as part of the white category because you don't want it to be as bad, if not worse, than it already is. So of course you try to flimsy up and then say, see, it's not really that bad. It's like there's no such thing as a white replacement. Oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. All right, mate. All right. Well then, let's see here. Okay, maybe I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll just end the show there. So again, nothing coming through with entropy. I mean, again, that's completely fine. I think I wasn't expecting that segment of the Timcast segment to be that long. So again, I'll probably finish that segment in the next episode when I'm next on, which I would imagine that would be Sunday. As I said, I'm not be streaming on Thursday. I'll be going on to the John Lawrence's stream or the NHP UK stream, which would be this Thursday on the 1st of December at 7 p.m. Like I said earlier on, I will be posting a Telegram, or making a Telegram post about that either tomorrow or on the day of the stream, but again, hours before the show comes to a head, kind of a thing. And of course, hope to see some of you guys in that chat. That will be really, really based. World War One and World War Two did for reaching damage to our percentage of population. Yeah, I can see where we're coming from with that. Definitely. Wait one more minute, and then we'll see. And there, almost approaching 7:05. Oh no, sorry, 10 to 7. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I'm quite tired at the moment because I woke up really early for work. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself dinner, and then after I have my dinner, I'm just going to chill out and just relax for the rest of the evening. So let me see. I'll wait until 5:02, and yep, nothing comes through for the entropy. That's completely fine. I'll just wait until 5:02. In fact, I might as well. Let me see here a moment. See if I can find what song to play us out with. Maybe a song I've listened to but not have it on the stream. Let me see here. 5:02. Right. Okay. Yeah. I might as well just end the show here because again, it's 5:02. Obviously, Jody will be live at 7 p.m. So English Rose just posted the link here. So definitely give it a watch, and then I hope to see you guys there. Of course I'll be watching it and see from there. Another ribeye steak tonight, Chief Moody. No, not tonight. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday. Well, I don't know about Thursday, but I'll wait and see with that there. I do have. I think I still got I got burgers or I've got myself pizza. I'll see if I can choose one of the two. It's a pepperoni stuffed crust pizza, so that actually should be really good. But again, we'll definitely wait and see with that. So anyway, let me see if I can find an outro song for tonight, and then we'll just call an end of tonight's episode. And please head on over to Jody K's stream when it's live at 7 p.m. Let me see if I can find, where is that song? And I wonder if should be able to find it here. Wait a minute. Right, I'm not sure if people have heard this song before, but I mentioned this on the show before, but I first listened to this song when myself and a few others from PA Scotland were driving down to the PA Northern Conference, and while we were driving down, this song was playing in the background, which I thought was pretty good. Hope Country Choir, keep your full buyers. The Hope Country Choir. Oh, well, I haven't played that song in a long while, but I was thinking about maybe this song. Hopefully, people might appreciate this one. So, what I'm going to do is now I'll come to the end of the stream tonight. But I want to thank you guys once again for tuning into tonight's episode. And again, please make sure to tune into this Thursday stream with where I'll be featured in the NHP UK stream. And that's going to be this Thursday on the 1st of December at 7 p.m. Definitely check it out when it can. And yeah, that's going to be it for tonight's episode. Again, thank you very much for coming along, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So this is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, and good night. Take care.
I'll place my knapsack on my back, my rifle on my shoulder. I'll march away to the firing line, kill that Yankee soldier. I'll kill that Yankee soldier. I'll march away to the firing line and kill that Yankee soldier. I'll bid farewell to my wife and child, farewell to my aged mother. I'll go and join in the bloody strife till this cruel war is over, till this cruel war is over. I'll go and join in the bloody strife till this cruel war is over. If I am shot on the battlefield, then I should not recover. Oh, who will protect my wife and child? Care for my aged mother? Who'll care for my aged mother? Oh, who will protect my wife and child and care for my aged mother? And if our southern cause is lost and southern rights denied us, we'll be ground beneath the tyrant's heels for our demands of justice, for our demands of justice. We'll be ground beneath the tyrant's heels for our demands of justice. Before the South shall bow her head, before the tyrants harm us, I'll give my all to the Southern cause and die in the Southern Army. I'll die in the Southern Army. I'll give my all to the Southern cause and I'll die in the Southern Army. If I must die for my home and land, my spirit will not falter. Here's my heart and here's my hand upon my country's altar. Upon my country's altar. Here's my heart and here's my hand upon my country's altar. And heaven be with us in the strife, be with the southern soldier. We'll drive that mercenary horde beyond our southern border, beyond our southern border. We'll drive that mercenary horde beyond our southern border. So I'll place my knapsack on my back, my rifle on my shoulder. I'll march away to the firing line and kill that Yankee soldier. Kill that Yankee soldier. I'll march away to the firing line. And I'll kill that Yankee soldier.